Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023. And we are going 3 days now without a package to unbox in the house. And I'm kind of at a loss. I don't know what to do. I thought about canceling the live stream for today, but, I thought we'd soldier on. I'm sure we got other stuff that we got to talk about as runners. So, let's give it a shot. All you guys listening in on the audio only version on the podcast, hopefully you're having a great day. Weather got real nice here in Crystal Lake. I mean, it's still not warm. It's not hot, but that's also a good thing. I've been running in like shorts and long sleeve or like light tights, full tights and long sleeves, and just been getting really sweaty by the end. But I prefer that to being like super cold and short sleeves in the beginning. But I feel like, that's kind of springtime weather, and that's okay. I've been enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are having the same thing too. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube later but not live, welcome. You are listening to the number one running podcast to listen to while you're trying to figure out what kind of workouts you might want to do for your next marathon training block or for your next training plan. So maybe you got like one window open here, listening to this, another window open, just kind of like Googling stuff, looking up stuff on different training programs. Maybe you're reading a training book. I like Jack Daniel's Running Formula. I think it's been a pretty popular one. A lot of people have been referring to that one. So good luck to you guys. All right, let's see who we got in the chat here. Austin Robertson said he ran a 10-mile PR at 9:15. Nice work. He says, though easy for most of you, I'm on the thicker end of the spectrum, but losing weight each week. There you go. He's trying to do a half marathon in the fall and lose 30 more pounds. Nice. Well, good work, Austin. You didn't ask for my advice, but I would say, you know what? If you enjoy the run, hopefully you're enjoying the running. You're doing well. You're improving, and hopefully you're enjoying it. And I feel like if you kind of like chase that feeling, what can I do to enjoy the run? What can I do to make my running better? I feel like all those other goals will kind of fall into place, man. So good luck to you. Sean Devlin says, hey, everyone. HIIT workout and a hills ride on the Peloton this morning. Is it Peloton or Peloton? Peloton, I think. He says the foot feels slightly better, so I'll run some truly easy miles for Shannon tomorrow. Nice. Take it easy on yourself, And Frank says he's coming over from the Cocodona live stream. That thing has been going on for days. Are we in like we're on like day 3 of it, right? I just feel like that's been going on for like all of May. Or am I wrong with that? I just feel like it's been going on for a long time. I actually haven't checked out any of it. And Aaron's Basement wants to know, hey, has anyone know how to do strides? All the tutorials I've watched said to run fast with good form, LOL. Yeah, I would say, if that is confusing, you think of it this way. Strides are something you can either do like at the end. If you're doing like drills before your run, strides is usually the last one you do. It might be something you do before a race. But if you're just trying to incorporate strides into your like weekly running, I would say that you could do it, 1 to 2 times per week. Some people like to do it more. And I like to do it in the middle of my run. So like at miles, if I'm doing, let's say I'm doing 8 miles. At mile 6, I might do this. And I just set it on my watch to do at mile 6, 15 seconds for one interval and then 45 seconds for the other. 15 seconds, I'm just going to run fast. Not quite a sprint, but maybe what you could run for a mile, but you're only going to do it for 15 seconds. And then you're going to jog for the other 45 seconds. And then do that, anywhere between 4 and 8 times. So that's one way to think of it. Mile pace for me is what I do for strides. Mile race pace. So just do it for 15 seconds. That's all. The other way you could do it is at the end of your run. Let's say you've driven somewhere to go for a run. You ran around the park. And you're kind of like back in the parking lot. Before you get back in the car, you could just like run down for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, jog back, run back out, jog back, and do that, 4 to 8 times. It doesn't have to be super, technical. But you don't, it's not a full out sprint. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Daniel Burton says, Greeley, Colorado in the house. Yeah, let me guys know where you're listening or watching from for today. For most of you guys, I know where you're at. But if you're relatively new here, then let me know. Brian Lang says there's windy weather plaguing the South right now. Yeah. Hey, is this just me, or do you guys have the same Brian Lang and Aaron's basement? Do you guys have the same picture? What's going on there? Or is that some sort of error? Look, Brian Lang's, look at this picture right here. And then Aaron's basement also has the same picture. What's going on with that? Is there really just 3 people in here and you just got many accounts? Is that what it is? I'm not sure. I'm sure there's some sort of internet joke that I'm not getting with that one. Steve Zervo says, I had my first run in the SC trainer today and watched a review today as well. Legit, that shoe is like floating above the ground when you run. All right, Steve, I'm glad you like that one. Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it, but like it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more like the Primex, because carbon fiber plate, racing foam, extra tall. That's kind of what I thought. And for me, it wasn't like a Primex. Instead, it was more like the Fresh Foam more, but like even squishier, you know. You know what? Now that I think about it, another really great way to think about the SC trainer, it's like a super tall Glide Ride 3. Where is it? Everything gets reversed here on the camera. So it kind of reminds me of the Glide Ride 3, but like a much taller version. But the Glide Ride 3 has a lot of great squish to it. And so now it's reminding me of that too. But like for me, I mean, some people like to try to run fast in it. I didn't love that, but when I wanted just like a nice, comfortable shoe for a longer run, then that's when I would reach for it. So it was good. Nathan Dunham says, look, I told you it's the #1 running podcast to listen to while you're building a training plan. He says, I actually do have this open while building my training plan for my next marathon. Yes. I love it. Brian says, how do you convince your friends to sign up for a race? Is it consensual if I get them to while they're drunk? I mean, they've got to sign up for it, just because they agree, that's one thing. Lots of people agree to races, but if you're going to get them to sign up for a race, you got to get them to actually sign up. Once they're signed up, they're in. You know what I mean? So, yeah. All right, let me scroll down here and get to the catch up with you guys in the chat. The run up says, what's up, co-fam? I'm a new runner and my current easy day pace is 10:45 to 11:30 per mile. Do you think Puma Liberate Nitro is appropriate for that pace? I feel like it can be, but the Liberate in my mind is a little bit more of a workout shoe than it is an everyday shoe. And so that's probably not the one that I would pick. I would say the Velocity is the daily trainer from Puma. So that's one to look at. I do have a pair of the Deviate Nitros around here somewhere. Remember that was in that lost package. Where did that go? I hope I didn't lose it. I don't see it. Where is it? I moved my studio around, so I don't. Oh, I think it's right there. Yeah, so that I think the Deviate Nitro could also be a really good choice too. I haven't tested that one out yet, so can't say for sure. The Deviate Nitro 1 was certainly good for that, but the Nitro 2 probably is going to be a good one. So like it's not inappropriate, but like for me, I would feel like there's just not enough comfort underfoot for me to run in it every day for my easy runs. But if I were to do a workout, like a really fast workout or something on a track, that's where I would really like it. So that's kind of how I see it. Mark Peterson says, hey, all joining late. My coworkers just doing a surprise baby shower pizza lunch. Nice. Congratulations. That's awesome. He said, I almost didn't make it. Thought for sure we were going to the hospital last night. Oh, boy. Oh, man, that's exciting, Mark. That's really great news. Congratulations. Yeah. I mean, I suppose they still could have gotten you the pizza at the hospital if you had to go yesterday. You know? Oh, man. What an exciting time. Royster95 says, any recommendation on a good Adidas daily trainer shoe? I think that the best daily trainer from Adidas right now is going to be the Adizero SL. There's also the SL20, which is good. It's a little bit cheaper of a version, but still pretty good shoe. I'd say it's in the budget category, but of budget shoes, not that I know that many. Not that I'm familiar with that many. It's pretty good. But the Adizero SL, I really like that one. So that's a good one to go with. I'm trying to think. I got a pair of Adidas on this wall somewhere. Where'd it go? Oh, it's all over there. So I got Solar Boost in here too. It's super heavy. So I feel like a lot of people end up in that one. I don't really like that one. It'll work, but it's just super chunky. Mixtape Tony says, "Yo, I listened to this while screen printing T-shirts. Today, I'm finally tuning in live and not an hour behind. Awesome, awesome, Tony. You know what? I've been thinking about. So guys, we've been talking about doing the getting some club singlets. You know what I mean? And so I'm just thinking like, so many phone calls I got to make. I got to figure out what the product I want to use, which I pretty much know which one I want to use. And then I got to figure out like who's going to screen print it and then who's going to ship it. I think that I'm going to try to handle the shipping. I'm just going to do a small run. So it's like 2 weekends worth of work. And then that'll be it. I just don't want to be going to the post office every day. I drive so much. It drives me I don't want to say insane, but it frustrates me how much I have to drive. So I don't want to do a lot of driving, but like but then here's where the story's going. In high school, I took a screen printing class. And it was one of my favorite classes I ever took. Like we made T-shirts and I was like, this is like unbelievably amazing. And I was just like, I can make whatever I want. This is great. And then in college, I went back to it again and I bought more screens and the gels. And so I could, get everything onto the screens, and I did some more. And I made a couple of T-shirts right after college, like literally a couple of T-shirts, like 3 or 4. And I've always loved doing that. And I'm like, now I have space down here in this basement. Should I get back into that? Or like, maybe I should just get a heat press so I could heat press stuff and then, crank out shirts and do that kind of thing. But I'm like, that's just more time that I don't have. I don't mind the work part's not that bad, but I'm like, do I have the time for that? I don't know. I feel like I need to like be better about delegating, but Tony, I mean, I do feel like screen printing is so much fun. It's so to me, it's really relaxing. I hope it's relaxing for you. Lark Running UK says, "Hey Mike, what's your next big goal? You got any major training on the horizon?" No, I think I'm going to do that 50K. I talked to my wife about it again yesterday, and she seemed okay about it. Me going out to Iowa that weekend, basically we'd all have to be in Iowa that weekend, and I would just duck out for like a couple of days. Or like 2 days to go do this trip, or a day really. So that'll be a 50K. That's not like that I'm just going to have fun and eat chips and run on a trail for a little bit, that kind of thing. So that's not like a huge training goal. I don't know. I'll be running the Peachtree 10K. I don't know that I'm going to do a lot of training for that. I probably won't. I don't think I'll do any training. My big goal right now is to just make sure I get into a weightlifting routine, so I could get some more power in the legs. And I'm on my 4th leg day in a row. I try to go every 3rd day. So today was day 4, and so I feel like I'm getting into a groove. I have like a routine that I like. I'm adding weight in several of the lifts. I did reduce weight a lot in the squats today, and I didn't have back pain. So that's like very satisfying. So that's like my next big goal. I would eventually, like to take a crack at another fast marathon. I don't know that I'll run another fast marathon in 2023. Just looking at my schedule, I got Chicago. I don't know if that's going to be like a PR attempt. I usually don't like to do that at Chicago, although it's a good city for it. It's a good race for it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I'm not running CIM. I'm not running New York. I'll be at both of those places though. There's a chance I might run another marathon, like be at another marathon. And maybe I'll run that one fast. I don't know. So I don't know, but I don't have any like huge goals right now. 2023 has already been pretty great running goal wise. So I'm kind of just like reloading and resetting, getting myself ready for, what's to come later, All right. Maryland Runner says, any chance we can get more non-elite hats? I can't seem to find any available when I look online. I have to email Flores, or you guys can email Flores. Be like, hey, do some more. I'll email Flores today, because a couple of people have mentioned it. And I feel like it's the running trucker hat season. It's time. So maybe we need to get on that. I know there's some lead time it takes to get that done. So hopefully we'll be able to catch the summer. Derek Silva says, any late season spring marathon runners in the house? Gotta admit, seeing all the vids from Eugene, Boston, London, etc., has me motivated and a bit terrified with 3 weeks to go till my race. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are running grandmas. I've been seeing a lot of people in my Instagram feed that are running the half at grandmas. And I'm like, is that the new move now? Everyone just does the Gary Bjorklund half marathon. I feel like what is there a more Duluth sounding race than the Bjorklund half marathon? But yeah, now I'm like, I kind of wish I was doing that, but I'm not. I don't think I'm going up to Duluth this year. I think was it Ben Johnson that asked me if I was going. I was like, I wish I were. But when my running buddy said he wasn't going to do it, then I was like, I told my wife that, and then she scheduled something family wise for that week. I was going to have to miss something family wise already, so she put that back on the calendar for me. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll go to that family thing. But anyway, like, yeah, May and June, nieces and nephews like crazy. So they're graduating, they're being successful and stuff, and I guess we got to go celebrate that, you know. But don't be terrified. I mean, being terrified is okay, you know. But like, think about like how motivating it's been. You know, relish that feeling. You know, both that motivation and that terrified feeling to get to really nail those last couple weeks of training. If you're 3 weeks to go, I mean, you're probably got one more week of work, maybe a week and a half. Probably another week, and then it's go time. I feel like I was texting with Tommy, I think yesterday, and he was like, "Hey man, you should have come out to Eugene." I'm like, "I know, it looked like it was so much fun." And he's like, "We missed you there," and I was like, "I missed not being there." I've been in touch with basically since the pandemic. I've been trying to find a way to get out to Eugene for that marathon, and then I met the race director at CIM, I think last year, maybe the year before, maybe both. And they're like, "We want to get you out." I'm like, that week is always so hard because I got nieces and nephews and stuff, and there's always family stuff happening right around this time of year. So it's tough. It's tough. But that, you know, I mean, getting to finish on Hayward Field, that looks amazing. I've run on that track. It's really something special. And then London, I'm really hoping, crossing my fingers, that I can get into the lottery this year. I got my name in. I put my name in the Goblet of Fire. Hopefully it gets drawn. You know, that's just going to be a fun one. Yeah. All right, let me keep scrolling down, catch up to you. I always get so caught up behind you guys. Blasicazo says, finally started training with a coach today. Don't know what took me so long. Did a tracker workout to estimate my lactate threshold. Well, that's cool. Awesome. What do you got going on? You like going for a marathon goal, half marathon, 10K? Why'd you get a coach? Like, for just to get better? You know what I mean? Like, what was the final like impetus that got you to do it? That's what I want to know. Because I've still never gotten a coach. I just feel like I'm kind of being, I don't think I'm uncoachable, but I'm kind of obstinate, I guess. You know, I don't know. Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. I was just like, the one person that I thought I would want to have coach me though, because I do feel like his like coaching philosophy would really line up with the things that I think work well for me. I should probably tell him this too. But then if I did it, it would seem like I was copying. But in the drop episode, I think it was the last one, maybe the one before that, Megan Murray revealed that she's now going to get coached by Andrew Castor. Now, Andrew Castor has been Dina Castor's coach for a long time, but Dina also used to be coached by Coach Joe Behill, who believes in altitude training and a lot of threshold work, and also did a lot of work with Coach Bob Larson, who we talked about yesterday on the live stream, who was Meb Keflezighi's coach. So I feel like there's a lot of synergies in terms of like the coaching philosophies there, and I just feel like he would write a plan that would probably work well for me. But I'm also just like, yeah, yesterday I ran 14 miles so I could get the SC trainer review done. I just feel like that's weird. I just don't know that the coach, like a coach would be like, you did what and why now? You know, I just feel like I don't know if I could work with a coach. But I do feel like if there's anyone, that would probably be one of them. You know. So, I'm glad that you like your coach. Um, Sober Gummy wants to know, does Tommy still work full time? Wasn't he a head honcho somewhere? How does he have the time? I don't know how he has the time. He still works for sure. Um, yeah, he's got like I think it's an office job. I don't know if he does that remotely. I don't know exactly where he does. I don't know if he like drives to work and like sits in an office or a cubicle all day. I don't think he does. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But yeah, he has a full-time job. Yeah, where he finds the time, I have no idea. Mm. Tony's got his fingers crossed for London too. Oh man, that'll be fun. You know what I'm definitely gonna do next time, Tony? Next spring marathon, basically every marathon I'm knowing, I'm definitely bringing more warm layers. I was so cold after Boston, just never again. It's like you always, whenever you meet like someone who's been running endurance races for a long time, they always got like weird like thing quirks, right? Just like I don't know why that guy always brings so many warm clothes. That guy's just weird. Even on like a summer race, he'll just bring like a winter jacket, a puffy coat, and a knit cap. I don't know why he does that. You know why? It's because one time something miserable happened. You got super cold after a race, and now never again. But yeah, man, that'd be good to see you in London. That'd be cool. JJ Antiana says, I just stick to my YouTube coaches. Yeah. 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 I mean, here's the thing. I was just thinking about Friday because I have no idea what I'm going to make the video about for Friday. I barely got a video out today. So I was thinking about talking about my 9-day training cycle idea, and I'm just like, I could talk about it, but I'm not a coach. You know what I mean? And so like, I'm not trying to pretend that I am or anything. I do get questions on it, and I'm like, can I actually make a full video about this? I'm not really sure. But you know what? I think I am gonna eventually make that video, but I'm waiting for some new toys to come in. I just ordered a bunch of stuff, more stuff for the studio that I think could help me make that video fun in terms of like a visual aids perspective. So I think that stuff's coming today. So maybe I'll have it in time for Friday. We'll see. Not that I'm not trying to be anybody's coach. I'm not a YouTube coach. Whatever, you know. Daniel Burton says, I would love to have Ryan Hall coach me. Are you sure? You sure about that? I don't know. I don't know if you're ready. I don't know. I generally respond well. I don't know what it is, but like the coaches that yell a lot, like I respond well to that. I like that for some reason. But like I even feel like even for me, like if Brian Hall were like yelling at me, like let's say I'm doing like 800-meter repeats and he's yelling at me on the track, be like, push. I'd just be like, stop. I'd just be so terrified. I think I've met him in person a couple of times. He's very intimidating. Great guy, but a little physically imposing, you know. All right, let me keep scrolling down. Sasha Marquez says, for the Paris Marathon 2024, it's possible to win entries doing running challenges. Search for Paris Marathon for all. Yeah, I heard that if there's something you could do on Garmin to get an entry to it. Where's that for the Olympic marathon? I'm not sure. Yeah. I would love to run Paris. It looked a lot of fun. That's another one where like, you know what I love? I love that people are like filming their race experiences more. Not necessarily, you don't got to bring your GoPro on the course like I do. That's fine. I mean, I like it, but you don't have to do that. But like people are like talking about their race, they're talking about the expo, talking about their travel, and you get to experience kind of like what it's like to see these. Like there was one guy that did the Paris Marathon. I think it was a 5-hour finish, and I was just like, this is great. You know, I've just been enjoying that. Adam says, I think you'd be a great YouTube coach, i.e., someone who coaches how to be successful with YouTube. Well, I mean, I hope so. I thought about that before. And that's kind of like one of the things where like I don't know that I want that to be my job because there's people that do that really well. Some of them are kind of sketchy, and selling like, here's my 12-point plan, you can buy it online, that kind of thing. I don't love that much. I get it, like that's a great way to make money, and it is could be useful to some people, but a lot of it just feels kind of snake oily. Um, but it's one of the reasons why I like talking to people who are making content on YouTube for happy hour. It's just so like that way I can like just connect with people. I'm not necessarily saying I got to be your mentor now or you got to listen to what I say to do, but it's just good to kind of connect with people on that kind of level from like a colleague perspective. And I don't know if I should tell you this guys yet, but I'll just tell you just so you guys know what's going on. I did submit so like at the running event that I've been going to, where they show all the shoes ahead of time and stuff. Basically everyone goes now. Um, I decided next year I'm not gonna go and like sit through all those meetings. Like I just did not like it. No disrespect to any one particular meeting, but the whole entire thing was just like I didn't like it. And then like people got real crazy with like embargoes, and then we're like, oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to tell you there was an embargo. And then there was embargoes that I forgot about or just didn't hear correctly because I don't pay attention all the time. And so like I'm like, I don't want to deal with like any of that. So I'm just gonna go. I'll walk the floor. I'll say hi to the people that I want, but I also still want to participate. And so there's a couple of other like things that I'd like to do with that event. And one of them is there's like a seminar, like a I think it's like full day of like speakers and stuff like that people can go to. And I got an email saying like, hey, we not to me, it was a blast email, but like they were like, we're looking for people that are want to submit proposals. And so I talked to Tommy and I was like, hey, we should do something where we talk to retailers about how to use social media to like promote your store, make your store more of an accessible community hub, that kind of thing. And just be like, look, you don't got to buy all these cameras. You can just do it with your phone. And so like hopefully that gets accepted. I think that'd be fun. I think I'd rather cover that event as like a speaker attendee rather than like someone trying to be like, leaking shoes, because I'm not trying to leak shoes. I don't like that hasn't been my thing for quite a while now. So I used to do that. No disrespect to people that do that, but it's not something I'm super interested in anymore. So I don't know. Maybe this leads to some more like opportunities that way. I'd like to do public speaking. I did a lot of public speaking in my previous job. I used to speak at conferences all the time. I think I don't know. Have some of you taken some of my courses? So the CL, the continuing legal education. I think some of you have. They're outdated now, but that exists. But I'd like to kind of do something similar in the running space. Aldovino says, I just asked ChatGPT to make me a 9-day training plan, and what came back was ask Mike Co. That's funny. uh, hilarious. You know, um, Yeah, I just think that like I think it's funny all the people that are like surprised that ChatGPT can give them like a decent training plan. I just feel like it's plagiarizing stuff and just not giving credit. You know what I mean? I don't know. Has anyone seen something like, I don't know, that's weird, but I'll try it and then it worked? See, that's something that I would care about. But if ChatGPT is like, oh, it did a really good job of paraphrasing Jack Daniels. I mean, what the heck is I don't know. Like, oh, this did a good job of putting into paragraph form a Hal Higdon plan. Like, I feel like that's what we're getting from ChatGPT when they say they like do plans. Like, I'm not impressed. Like, I'm impressed that it's not like, you know, day 1, run 5 miles. Day 2, run 6 miles. Day 3, run 7. I'm glad it's not doing that, but I also just feel like I think it's regurgitating. I mean, and then maybe that's the point of AI is that over time it learns and eventually it'll out Canova maybe. But until then, I'm just like interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a curmudgeon about it. Uh, Steven C1984 says, "Have you ever used ChatGPT for something you have expertise in and it wasn't that great?" I've never actually tried ChatGPT. I've seen like a lot of videos on it. People like, typing stuff in. I forget what's his name, and he's made like a really good video, YouTube channel. Young guy. He's doing online coaching, and I've been liking his videos. And then all of a sudden, he like, kind of disappeared. I forget his name, and his videos kind of disappeared from my feed. So I've been looking for him. I don't know what happened. But he did one where he like actually were like asked it to write. And yeah, I mean, I feel like the art with Chat GPT is like, garbage in, garbage out. So you can't be like, make me a marathon plan. But he actually like was like, make a marathon plan for someone who is trying to hit sub 3 and running 60 miles per or 70 miles per week, 12-week training plan. And he looked it over and he like evaluated and he's like, it's not bad. It's actually not bad. But I remember watching that video and being like, this looks familiar. I've seen this before. So I don't know. Not that I'm an expert on training plans, I guess. Yeah, and Adam says like, here's the thing: training plans should be guidelines, not taskmasters. They don't know how you feel on any given day. It's true. Yeah, and I also just feel like you got to be able to adjust depending on how it's going. You know what I mean? You got to be able to tweak. And Dr. Josh says ChatGPT pulls wrong info a lot if you ask it to search. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of like for running, I've been seeing people like I've been starting to see it like on Instagram. I'm sure it's probably on TikTok already. I haven't been on TikTok in a while. People saying like I asked ChatGPT to like write me a tempo workout and then they did it. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's kind of boring. Mm-hmm. Martha says, where'd it go? I'm actually very worried about AI. It's super scary how the bad guys will use it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's already people making like really weird political ads using ChatGPT. And I'm just like, the people that they're targeting that to have no idea that those are like fake images. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's very easily abusable. It's very problematic, I think. But here's the other thing. And I'll probably repost it for tomorrow for May the 4th. But have you guys been seeing the trailer going around for a fake Wes Anderson Star Wars movie? It's called the Star Wars Menagerie. Like the trailer for that is so good. I want to watch the movie. The whole thing. Like it just the animation style that the AI picked is like really just beautiful. And I'm sure it's a direct if I knew art well enough, I could be like, oh, they're totally biting off of so and so. I feel like that's how all the good AI generated art is. It's like, oh, that's an exact ripoff of some such and such other person. But like to actually be able to like even if you're copying one artistic style and then putting it in the realm of Star Wars and making a interesting trailer is it pretty incredible, and I definitely want to watch it. And I'm like eager and also terrified of the moment where like all our best entertainment comes from like when the computers can figure out how to like mollify and pacify us. That's when I feel like things are going to go downhill. They're going to be like, now they're not paying attention and we can do what we really want. Whatever the AI, assuming that, and I'm ascribing that the AI has desires, but that's when I think it's going to get, that's when I think we got to watch out. Once they're making better movies than we can make movies, then we're in trouble. Peter Kirk says YouTube is as high tech as I get. Yeah, I haven't spent I haven't spent much time with the AI. I don't know. I think we interact with more high tech technology than we realize. I mean, if you've ever been to an airport, you're dealing with a lot of it. I use Clear, and it has all those biometric sensors and stuff. So I don't know. What matters to Matt says this conversation is getting to a dark place. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's like at what point are we at the? I mean, it's like the Terminator movie plots. Terminator, yeah, movies plot. Plural. Yeah, I mean that's kind of happened. Mm. Space Infield says, get AI into running watches, on-the-fly modifications to your workouts. I mean, I suppose I don't really need AI to do that. You just need algorithms, to do that, I guess. I mean, that's how it, I mean, it's kind of doing that already, right? Isn't that what the Garmin one does? Like there was a running channel video where they had that one presenter, Sarah. She was like, for 30 days, I just did whatever my Garmin told me to do. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I guess we're already there. I don't know. Eric says, if ChatGPT could fix my Coros heart rate data, I'd be down for that. Yeah, but maybe they can make it so that you don't need the Coros footpod to be able to get real-time pace change information. That would be good. Yeah. I don't know why it's like that. I was looking at watches again today. I guess I was in a shopping mood. Here's the things that, like today, while I was procrastinating, working on the SC Trainer video, things that I went shopping for. I looked for network attached storage because I was like, how much do large solid state drives cost now? Can I make a NAS and fill it with SSDs, or is it still not cost effective? So I was like doing some perusing on the internet for a little while. And then I was also looking at watches because I just watched Matt Legrand's video on the Enduro 2. Amazing. He has such amazing visuals. I don't want that watch. It's not for me. But I was looking at that. I'm like, I do kind of want to watch with solar in it. I'm like, do they make a 255 or a 265 with solar? I think I would like that. They don't. You have to get like either the Instinct or the Phoenix to get solar. But I think I would like to have solar. Oh, Matt's here. He says, thanks for the kind word, Co. Yeah, Matt, that video is, I mean, your visuals are always good. But like I just want to have I really like to have a solar watch. And I don't know, the polar's been bugging me. Not that I swim that much, but it was miserable tracking my swim. So I don't know. I was like, maybe it's time for a different one. But I've been running with it. I've been using it for, I don't know. I don't know what it's tracking when I put it into weight training mode. I think it just tracked my heart rate for a while, but yeah, I don't know. I gotta look into that a little bit more. But like, I haven't been wearing it to sleep, and that's the main reason I like the Polar is for its sleep metrics. So, you know. Scott Stroll says, I watched the run testers speak for 25 minutes about watches, and I learned I want more than one. That's where I'm at. I like the Garmin for running. It's better for swimming than the Polar one has been for me, but I think that its recovery metrics and sleep metrics leave a lot to be desired. And so like I do like the morning report that Garmin does, but like most of the things it advises are based on like the recovery metrics and like the other 23 hours of my day tracking that it does, and I don't think it does that as well as a Polar watch. So I don't know. Yeah. Space and Felt says, I have twins coming in August. Do you know any YouTubers that review running strollers? Running strollers? I'm not sure. Oh, there's lots of people that review strollers on YouTube. That was something that I got very deep into for a long time. My favorite is the Bob. Is that one we have? The city. No. We have a city jog. No, I'll have to go look at. I think we have the Bob X3. That one, huge wheels, really great. I don't know if it comes in a double wide. I think it does. It's super easy to fold. No, it's a baby jogger. Baby jogger is the one we have. That's a really good one. Yeah. So, but I mean, if they're coming in August, you got a long time before you're gonna need a running stroller because you can't put. I don't know if you know this, but you can't put a newborn in a jogging stroller. They have to be big enough. Well, You can do what you want. It's your kids. I'm not telling you what to do. But I'm saying like what they usually say is the kids have to be able to hold their own head up, so they could sit in it. I know there's like the car seat attachments for walking in with the stroller, but you're really not supposed to be jogging in them like that. So you got some time before that happens, you know. Mm. Roberto Lafarga says, I have a Phoenix 7 and the solar thing is marginal, to be honest. LOL. Yeah. Matt says the problem is you need a watch with a low power draw, like an Instinct, for the solar to be really helpful. Yeah, that's a shame. You know what I never understood about watches? I'm sure the answer is like because then it'd be too bulky. But like, they make watches where like just your normal wrist watch moving it provides enough kinetic energy to keep the watch like operating. And I know that's not for an electronic watch. These are for mechanical watches, which don't really have a huge energy draw. But I'm like, I'm running or swimming sometime every once in a while. Like, can't they make one that has that kinetic drive to power a watch? Like, how much is the power draw for a Coros Pace 2? You know what I mean? It's not doing nav. It's not doing music. Like, why can't they add that in there? I don't know. But I guess the Coros Pace 2, that thing goes like a week before. I mean, I could train with it for a week before it needs a charge, I think. So I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too picky. All right, we got some input from the chat. April Fletcher has a Bob running stroller and loves it. Chuleta, which means pork chop, says the Bob stroller is great. Yeah, very good. Yeah, and St. Pete Runner says, the baby's got to be able to sit up first. Yeah. So you got some time before you're ready. Your kids are ready for that stroller. But here's the thing though. I ended up with we had a small apartment and I ended up with like a fleet of strollers. Now, granted, we didn't have a car. So like, this is kind of like, our stroller was a minivan. We had the Up a Baby Vista. If you are living in a walkable neighborhood, that is like the minivan of strollers. I highly recommend that one. It's expensive, but like we used it it outlasted our kids. You know what I mean? Like our kids didn't need a stroller before that thing needed, and we took that thing in snow in the Chicago winter. We used it to get groceries. Like, yeah, we pushed that thing hard and it held up. But then we're like, oh, now I need one for jogging. And like, oh, we need a smaller, lighter one for like when we're traveling. So we ended up with like just a bunch. My wife collected strollers like I collected shoes. It was a lot. So like, it's not bad to think of, but like there's one that a good jogging stroller is probably not a good everyday stroller though. That's the thing. So like you're probably gonna at least want to. It is easier to like. That's an easier sell though, from a family purchasing perspective though, because then you're like, well, it's for the babies, All right, let's get to a couple more. Chilena 1519 says, I've been passed by a guy pushing a stroller. It was impressive. I was doing 630 pace. That is impressive. I used to get passed by people. One time I got passed by like a couple. I was doing a workout and this couple passed me in the stroller. It was a windy day. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm not pushing the stroller because it's so windy. And then I'm like, oh, they're passing me. They're going faster than me. I was like, couple goals, man. That's incredible. Steven C. 1984 says, Welsh Runner did a stroller park run. Not sure on the time, but probably fast. I bet it was. Adam says, if you raced with a stroller, your kid will always finish ahead of you. I tried to convince Rory Linkletter that he should go for the stroller mile record. He wasn't into it though. I was like, you could probably do it. It's fast. It's faster than I could run a regular mile. That's how fast it is. But we were talking about it because he has got a kid, and I was like, oh, when I interviewed him, I was like, oh, your kid's right at the age where they can sit in the stroller, you can push them around fast, and they're like, old enough that they're not going to get jostled too hard, but they're not so old that they're heavy. So I'm like, you got to go for it. He's like, oh, okay. I don't know. He didn't seem into it. Dr. Josh says, all this stroller talk makes me think of being a kid in an amusement park, and there would be a ton of strollers parked for a ride. Yeah, here's the thing. This is how I know I mean, I know for a lot of reasons that you're not as old as I am, Dr. Josh, but when I was a kid, that didn't exist. That became a thing at some point where like all of a sudden rides needed to have like stroller parking available. I don't remember stroller parking ever, like growing up, going to amusement parks and stuff. So like I think that's like a relatively new, like a new thing. Like we went when we went apple picking this year, there like for when you wanted to go on the hay, because you took a hay ride to go from like the front, like more like carnival-y area back to where the apple orchard was. And like there was a bunch of stroller parking there. And I was just like, yeah, I don't remember apple picking being like this when I was a kid. Things have changed for real. Peter Kirk says, yeah, my partner collected strollers too. We went through 3 strollers the first 3 months. Oh yeah. I mean, I spent so much time on YouTube looking for which would be like the best stroller. We talked about like foldability. We talked about like how easy it was to turn. Can you steer it with one hand? That was like the big test. Oh my, I remember that. Ugh. And at the end of the day, like the one that I like looked at first and I was like, oh, that's kind of expensive. That was the best one, and that's the one we got. And I was glad it was definitely worth it because I feel like the cheaper ones we would have ended up busting through those. My wife, I don't remember what site she used, but like she had went through some site where we were able to get like it was when they just changed. They don't change them every year, but like the design changed a little bit, and so we got like the old one at a really nice discount when we bought ours. It was good. Dr. Dress says, "What if there's cheating strollers? One that has a mini motor? Is that for real? I feel like that should be a thing. You know what's big now, which my wife like. I think our kids were just old enough that we didn't get into it though. What's big now is like the kiddie wagon, where it's kind of like the what is it, the radio flyers, but now they make them with like big chunky wheels. Sometimes they fold up like accordion style, but they get big, and then there's like attachments and accessories. You can put like a canopy in there. You could put seats in there if you wanted to, or like little areas for like if you're bringing groceries and your baby somewhere. They got lots of lots of stuff. Brian, he says, the last half marathon I ran, a guy set a Guinness record pushing his quintuplets in a stroller. He did not beat me though. You gotta get that's like special order stuff right there. A quintuplet stroller. That's the kind of stuff that they have at the daycares. Like in Chicago, all the daycares would have these giant strollers where they could put like 6 or even like a dozen kids. And it would look like the slowest roller coaster car ever. Right. And all the kids would get buckled in, and like one little lady would like be pushing like a dozen children in this giant thing. I wonder if he had that special design too to put bigger wheels. I bet you he had something with bigger wheels on it. I don't think quintuplets is a normal stroller size. He had to get that special made. That's a custom rig. Oh man. Scott Strill says, speaking of Polar watches, there's a Polar watch sale. Use code Polar25. Ooh, interesting. Louis says, in our time, you had like 3 brands of strollers. But I feel bad for new parents. They have so much options, and some are not good at all. There is a lot. There is a lot of options for the parents out there. There's so many things that you can buy. But I remember for us, like we bought and prepared all this other stuff, and then like 4 or 5 weeks in, when my older daughter was born, it was kind of like whenever you study for a test and you leave the test and you're like, I studied all the wrong things. It was kind of like that. We're like, we bought all this stuff. We're not using hardly any of it. You know what? All you really need is like swaddle blankets, diapers, and a bunch of onesies because they're gonna poop through stuff. That's it. Everything else, you get it figured out. I'm assuming you're fortunate enough where breastfeeding is an option. I know it's not easy for everybody, and not everyone does it. But otherwise, like the rest takes care of itself. Then you just figure it out, the rest out as you go. At least that's how we did it. We read all the books and stuff too. And I was just like, I don't remember any of it. I don't need it. We're just gonna wing it. Tony Boo says, I gifted my friend a Bob jogging stroller and he hasn't used it once. What? That's a really nice gift. That's an expensive gift. That's nice. Awesome. That's a shame. But maybe he'll come around. Maybe he'll come around to it. Urger? Is that what it is? Urger? URJR. UR Junior? Is that what it is? I'm not sure. Says, thanks. Now I'm signed up for 9 races this year so I can get guaranteed entry to the New York City Marathon next year. Did you really? You signed up to do the 9+? You got to volunteer for one too. It's 9+1, right? Oh, man. That's a lot of racing. But you'll have fun. Hopefully you'll have fun. You should have fun. You'll probably have fun. But New York is a super fun race. It'll be worth it. And he says he's looking forward to doing it. You're doing your first half marathon this year, and you got 8 other races signed up. It's gonna be a good year. I hope you enjoy it, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. CV76 says, I winged it, but kid turned out okay. So far, don't jinx it yet. The one's only 6, so I got plenty of time to mess them up, and the other one's about to become a teenager, so I think we're in for a ride. But speaking of my daughter, she does have a meet today. This one is the invitational meet. I don't know if she's gonna compete. She never knows. I don't know if she's gonna compete in the conference meet. That's next week. I think she will, but I don't know. She would like to try and PR again in the 800. She doesn't know if she's gonna be put into the mile. She talked to her coach yesterday, or one of the coaches yesterday, and that coach didn't really seem to know for sure what my daughter was gonna be running today. But hopefully she's not in the mile, because I just want her to focus on the 800. And I'm just like, how intense do I push her? How hard? She already PR'd by 10 seconds on her 800 last week. So she's a 3:16 half marathoner, half miler. So I feel good about that. But she can run faster because she ran a 7:11, I think, for her mile time. So I think there's room for her to get faster on both of those. But I'm like, how hard do I push her? She was kind of sniffly yesterday and a little bit low energy. So I don't know if she's coming down with something or what. But I guess we'll see when I go out there today. So I got to go out drive real far. I've been to this high school before. It's very, very, very far away. I think this is the one that has the shooting range, like the gun range next door. I think that's this one. No, it's not, but it's in that kind of direction. But we'll go out there. I don't know. I think I'm going to see if she wants to try to go for like a 3:10. And then I'll just yell out splits for her. See what she's feeling. I don't know. But I don't know. I spent a lot. I probably spent more time thinking about it on my run today than she spent thinking about it. But I'm like, it's really easy to get like too into it as a parent. I think I'm trying to figure out the right balance of like how involved does she want me to be, or how much does she want me to back off. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Adam says don't push her. Yeah. I feel like I'm getting really intense about it. I feel it, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm getting intense about it, but she really wants to, you know what I mean? So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. UR Junior says, how many of your kids run? I have 2. The younger one's not, is doing like gymnastics and like gymnastics, dancing, swimming. So, we're right now our goal is to get her to ride a bike with no training wheels, and then the older one is 11, and so she's been liking it. But yeah, Steven76 says, I'm becoming that dad. I'm trying not to. But I am the one that's standing on the other side of the track yelling out splits. So, yeah. All right. We'll end with this one. Hugo and Leo Running says, can't stop staring at the shoes while listening. It would be awesome if you go one by one and rate them one of these days. Yeah, maybe we can do that next time. Although it won't be tomorrow because we're gonna have a happy hour guest. But maybe one day. I won't go through all of them, but we can kind of go through. I can tell you a little story about each one, I guess. So I think maybe that's something we could do. Maybe we do like a shoe of the day, and then once I go through them all, I'll switch them all out and put it in a whole different room. I got a whole another bookshelf right here off camera of other shoes, so we can go through those too. But tomorrow, we're gonna have Chris Chung, C Chungy on Instagram, as the happy hour guest. So he's gonna be coming in. I don't know if he's anywhere besides Instagram. I only see him on Instagram. He may be on TikTok too. But we're gonna bring him in. We're gonna talk to him. And I will post links to like his stuff if you want to check him out in the description for the live stream for tomorrow. So if you want to check that out ahead of time, or just come in and hang out and get to meet him on the live stream. So that should be a fun one. Hopefully I'll see you then tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central Time, same time as today. Till then, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.